Marcus Aurelius warned that the man who depends on approval will never be truly desired. Most men chase approval and lose respect without knowing why. The harder you try to be valued, the less valuable you appear. Women say they want kindness, but respond to something deeper and older. The moment a man stops needing validation, attention shifts toward him. Marcus Aurelius warned that needing others to value you makes you a slave to them. Now let us slow down and understand this clearly, without anger, without blame, and without confusion. This is not about hating women. This is not about manipulation. This is about human nature, self-respect, and the quiet power of inner strength that the Stoics talked about long before modern dating existed. Many men believe that if they give more, care more, explain more, and sacrifice more, they will be loved more. They think value comes from effort alone. But Marcus Aurelius would disagree. He believed that value comes from character, discipline, and independence of the mind. When a man builds his life around being approved by others, he slowly loses the one thing that creates real attraction, self-command. Women are not attracted to men who ignore them. They are attracted to men who do not abandon themselves. There is a huge difference. A man who does not value himself becomes predictable. He reacts emotionally. He fears loss. He negotiates his worth. And the Stoics would say this puts his happiness in the hands of others, which is the weakest position a human can take. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you should never act as if you are owed affection, praise, or loyalty. The moment you believe you deserve something from someone just because you gave effort, you have already lost your freedom. Attraction does not grow from obligation. It grows from presence, calm, and grounded confidence. When a man does not value himself, his actions become loud even when his words are soft. He checks his phone too often. He over-explains. He tries to prove that he is different. He gives without being asked. And underneath all of this is one silent message. I need you to choose me so I can feel whole. That need is felt, even if never spoken. Human beings sense emotional pressure instinctively. Marcus Aurelius taught that the strongest person is the one who can stand firm without leaning on external validation. This does not mean being cold, it means being complete. When a man is complete, his attention becomes valuable because it is not desperate. His presence feels safe because it is not clingy. His words carry weight because they are not begging for approval. Women do not want men who do not value them. They want men who do not lose themselves while valuing others. A man can care deeply and still be grounded. But the moment caring turns into self-erasure, attraction fades. Stoicism explains this clearly. If you make another person the center of your emotional world, you shrink your own inner world. Think about this. Would you respect someone who constantly asked if they were good enough? Would you trust someone who changed themselves every time they feared disapproval? Respect cannot grow where there is no solid core. And attraction needs respect to survive. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that people's opinions are outside his control. If you base your worth on something you cannot control, you live in constant anxiety. Many men unknowingly do this in relationships. They monitor moods, they overanalyze messages, they shape their behavior to avoid rejection. This creates tension, not closeness. A man who values himself does not chase emotional certainty. He accepts uncertainty calmly. He knows that affection is freely given or not given at all. This calm acceptance is rare, and rarity creates value. Not because it is a trick, but because it shows maturity. Stoicism teaches that desire must be governed by reason. When desire controls behavior, dignity disappears. This is why men who try less often seem more attractive. It is not that they care less. It is that they are not ruled by outcome. They enjoy connection without clinging to it. Many men misunderstand this and swing to the opposite extreme. They become distant, rude, or emotionally unavailable. That is not Stoicism. That is fear wearing a mask. Marcus Aurelius never taught avoidance. He taught balance. He taught strength with warmth, not indifference. True self-value means you can walk away without anger. It means you can stay without fear. It means your peace does not depend on being chosen. When a woman feels this energy, she feels no pressure, no need to protect herself, no need to pull away. Calm attracts calm. Women respond to men who have direction. Direction shows that your life has meaning beyond romance. Marcus Aurelius believed that every person must live according to purpose, not pleasure. A man with purpose is not empty. He invites someone into his life instead of asking them to complete it. When a man overvalues a woman, he places her above himself. This creates an imbalance. Relationships need equality, not worship. Worship creates distance. Equality creates connection. Stoicism teaches self-respect first, because without it, respect from others cannot last. This is why men who constantly seek reassurance often lose attraction. Reassurance is a temporary fix for inner doubt. It never satisfies for long, and the person providing it slowly feels drained. Attraction fades when one person becomes an emotional caretaker instead of a partner. Marcus Aurelius said that you should never give someone power over your inner state. Yet many men hand this power away without realizing it. They let mood depend on texts, attention, and validation. This is not love. This is dependency. A man who values himself does not rush emotional intimacy. He allows things to unfold. He observes actions, not promises. He stays present without projecting the future. This patience feels strong. It signals stability. And stability is deeply attractive. Women want men who are emotionally solid, not emotionally absent. Solid means your emotions are yours. You do not dump them on others. You do not expect others to manage them. You take responsibility. Marcus Aurelius called this self-governance, the highest form of power. The moment you stop trying to be chosen, you become someone worth choosing. Not because you withdraw, but because you stand on your own feet. Your attention becomes a gift, not a plea. Your affection becomes clean, not loaded with expectation. This does not mean every woman will want you. Stoicism teaches acceptance of reality. Some connections will fail. Some people will leave. A man who values himself does not collapse when this happens. He adjusts, learns, and continues forward. When women sense that rejection will not break you, they feel safe to be honest. When honesty appears, real connection becomes possible. Fear kills attraction faster than mistakes ever could. Marcus Aurelius lived with the knowledge that everything external is temporary. When you truly understand this, you stop clinging. And when you stop clinging, you stop pushing people away. This is the foundation. Self-value is not arrogance. It is quiet confidence. It is discipline. It is knowing who you are without needing applause. And this energy changes how people respond to you without you saying a single word. When a man truly values himself, his behavior changes in subtle ways. He listens more and reacts less. He does not rush to fix emotions that are not his responsibility. He does not argue to be understood. Marcus Aurelius believed that clarity comes from silence and consistency, not from explanation. The man who explains too much often does so because he fears being misunderstood, and fear always leaks through actions. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional stability. Not words, not promises, but stability. A man who values himself does not become anxious when things slow down. He does not panic when replies are delayed. He understands that life happens, moods change, and interest must breathe. This patience feels rare in a world where most people are emotionally impatient. Most men lose attraction not because they are bad, but because they become emotionally available in an unbalanced way. They offer constant access, constant reassurance, constant presence. This removes mystery, but more importantly, it removes polarity. Marcus Aurelius taught that everything needs balance. Too much pressure breaks even good things. A man who does not value himself often confuses attention with intimacy. He thinks talking all day builds connection. In reality, connection is built through shared experience, mutual respect, and emotional independence. When one person needs constant contact to feel secure, the other slowly feels trapped. Stoicism teaches that you must control what is yours and release what is not. Another person's desire is never yours to control. The moment you try, you lose dignity. A man who understands this becomes calm in uncertainty. And calm is attractive because it signals strength. Women are not drawn to emotional chaos. They are drawn to emotional clarity. A man who values himself knows what he wants, but does not force it. He expresses interest without attachment to outcome. This creates a clean energy. No pressure, no manipulation, just presence. Many men believe they must prove their value. Marcus Aurelius would say the opposite. He believed that a man's value is revealed, not advertised. When you try to convince someone of your worth, you silently tell them you doubt it yourself. Confidence never needs to announce itself. A self-valuing man sets boundaries without anger. If something does not align with his values, he steps back calmly. He does not threaten. He does not beg. He does not punish with silence. He simply chooses himself. This choice is felt deeply by others. Women respect men who can say no. Not aggressively, not dramatically, but calmly. A man who never says no communicates that he has no standards. And without standards, attraction fades. Marcus Aurelius believed that self-respect is built through disciplined choices, not emotional reactions. Another mistake men make is putting women on a pedestal. When you elevate someone too high, you place yourself too low. This creates imbalance. Relationships thrive on equality. Stoicism teaches that every human is flawed, temporary, and imperfect. Seeing someone clearly is more respectful than worshipping them. A man who values himself does not rush commitment out of fear of loss. He allows trust to grow naturally. He watches actions over time. He understands that real connection is slow. Rushed intimacy is often anxiety disguised as passion. When a man is centered, his emotions do not swing wildly. He does not love intensely one day and withdraw the next. Consistency builds safety. Safety allows attraction to deepen. Marcus Aurelius spoke often about steadiness, about being the same person in all seasons. Many men fear that valuing themselves will make them lonely. Stoicism teaches the opposite. When you stop chasing, the right connections remain. The wrong ones fall away. This is not loss. This is alignment. A man who values himself enjoys companionship but does not need it to survive. This difference changes everything. Need creates pressure. Enjoyment creates openness. Women feel this difference immediately. Self-value also changes how a man handles conflict. He does not argue to win. He does not raise his voice to be heard. He does not abandon himself to keep peace. He speaks clearly and listens carefully. If respect disappears, he leaves calmly. Marcus Aurelius believed that peace of mind is worth more than being right. Attraction grows when a woman feels she is choosing freely, not being emotionally pulled. A man who values himself allows that freedom. And freedom, paradoxically, increases desire. When rejection happens, a self-valuing man does not turn bitter. He does not insult. He does not chase closure. He accepts reality and moves forward. This response shows emotional maturity, and maturity is deeply attractive, even if the connection ends. Marcus Aurelius wrote that nothing truly valuable can be taken from you unless you give it away. When you give away your self-respect for attention, you lose both. When you keep your self-respect, Attention may come or go, but you remain whole. This is why women seem drawn to men who do not overvalue them. It is not cruelty. It is balance. It is the feeling of being with someone who stands strong on his own ground. When a man finally understands self-value, his entire approach to relationships changes at the root. He no longer enters connections to fill a void. He enters to share an already full life. Marcus Aurelius believed that a person who depends on externals for happiness will always feel empty, no matter how much attention they receive. A self-valuing man does not confuse desire with destiny. He understands that attraction can exist without ownership. This mindset removes desperation. He enjoys moments without trying to freeze them. This calm acceptance makes his presence feel light instead of heavy. Many men think they lose women because they are not good enough. In reality, they lose attraction because they abandon themselves trying to be enough. The moment a man betrays his own standards to keep someone, he teaches them not to respect him. Respect cannot survive self-betrayal. Marcus Aurelius taught that you must never act against your principles for comfort or pleasure. In modern relationships, this means not tolerating disrespect, mixed signals, or emotional games just to stay close. A man who values himself would rather walk alone than stay where he feels small. Women trust men who trust themselves. Trust is not built by constant reassurance. It is built by consistency between words and actions. When a man says what he means and does what he says, he becomes predictable in the best way. This reliability creates emotional safety. A self-valuing man does not try to control outcomes. He controls his effort, his conduct, and his reactions. Marcus Aurelius repeated this idea constantly. Focus on what is in your control and release the rest. This philosophy removes anxiety from dating and replaces it with clarity. When attraction fades, a man who values himself does not fight reality. He does not overtext, over-explain, or overgive. He steps back with dignity. This response preserves self-respect and often leaves a stronger impression than chasing ever could. Women are not attracted to emotional collapse. They are attracted to emotional strength. Strength does not mean suppressing feelings. It means processing them privately and expressing them calmly. A man who can feel deeply without losing control shows true power. Another key idea from Stoicism is impermanence. Everything changes. People change. Feelings change. When a man accepts this truth, he stops trying to lock people in place. This acceptance removes fear, and fearlessness is magnetic. A man who values himself is selective, not arrogant but intentional. He does not invest deeply in someone who shows inconsistency. He does not ignore red flags because of chemistry. Marcus Aurelius believed wisdom is choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. This selectiveness creates contrast. When you do not give your time, attention, and energy to everyone, it becomes meaningful when you give it at all. Women feel when attention is earned rather than freely handed out. Self-value also changes how a man loves. He loves without possession. He supports without sacrificing his identity. He gives without expectation of return. This kind of love feels clean and secure, not transactional. Many men fear that if they stop overgiving, they will be forgotten. In reality, overgiving often leads to being taken for granted. A man who values himself gives from abundance, not fear. And abundance is attractive. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man should be so grounded in himself that praise does not inflate him and rejection does not destroy him. This emotional independence is rare, and rarity naturally draws attention. When a woman feels that a man's world will continue with or without her, she does not feel unimportant. She feels respected. She knows she is wanted, not needed. And being wanted is far more powerful than being needed. This is the real meaning behind the idea that women want men who do not overvalue them. It is not about neglect, it is about balance. It is about a man who values himself enough to offer love freely, not desperately. A self-valuing man does not perform masculinity. He lives it quietly, he shows up, he leads his life, he accepts outcomes. Marcus Aurelius believed that the best revenge is not revenge at all, but becoming unshakable. When you stop chasing validation, your energy changes. Your silence becomes calm instead of anxious. Your presence becomes steady instead of restless. People respond to this shift naturally. In the end, attraction is not created by tactics, it is created by inner order. When your mind is disciplined, your emotions are stable, and your values are clear, you become someone others feel safe and drawn toward. This is not a dating strategy. This is a way of living. And when you live this way, relationships become healthier, cleaner, and more honest. Marcus Aurelius would say this is true power, to value yourself so deeply that nothing external can disturb your inner peace. If this message made you pause and think, that means it touched something real inside you. These ideas are not meant to make you angry or defensive, but aware. Awareness is the first step toward real strength. If you believe more men need to hear this truth about self-respect, inner calm, and quiet power, take 1 second to like this video. It helps this message reach people who need it, but may never search for it. Share it with a friend who is struggling silently. And if you want more wisdom from Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy applied to modern life, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep this kind of content alive.